Hey guys, it's Vanguard, back again with another card by Vanguard deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate Patreon. Let's get started. So this time, it's my wonderful new Angel Feather deck. Starting Vanguard, first 8 Celestial Pennial, the standard when wrote upon draw 1, and soon enough it will have the quick shield art, where basically, if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade higher or equal to when this unit's wrote upon, you get to add a quick shield to your hand, which is basically a 5k shield. So it can be useful, and it just helps whenever. 4 copies of Hot Shot Celestial Samyaza, just standardized new crit, so the deck can be aggressive. And since I'm already on the topic of crits, I run 12 crits in total, no draws, no fronts if they existed in here, just flat out crits, because why the hell not? Also, because this deck seems very aggressive to my liking, so I just chose to make the triggers very aggressive. And then, obviously, the standard heal of Sunny Smile Angel. Now on to the main units. 2 copies of Scalpel Angel. Grade 1, 10k shield, 8k base, continuous rearguard skill. If your damage zone has 3 or more cards, it gets plus 5k and intercept. So, useful 13k at all times, can hit force numbers. And it's an interceptor, which, based on the protected gift I chose for this deck that already gives you a hand what it is, it's actually useful. And I just feel like it's pretty good in this deck, since it's one of my defensive cards, and you have to be balanced with offense and defense. 2 copies of Underlay Celestial Headseal. 10k shield, auto rearguard circle. When it's placed from hand, counterblast 1, take a card from your hand and replace it with a card from your damage zone, face up. So the card that you replace doesn't have to be face up, but you put the card from your hand as face up in your damage zone, so that can be useful, because it's a free counter charge. You can get a useful unit that you want. Heck, it could even be the card you counterblasted, so effectively you just get a card for free. Let's see. 4 copies of Prime Plaster are PG. Standard, when it's placed on Guardian Circle, you get to nullify an attack. And Vanguard Circle, when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, draw 1 and then discard 1. Or is it the other way around? Because that could make a difference. Yeah, you draw a card, then you discard 1. So you effectively get the draw off. So if, say you have to write the PG, you get the draw of Pennial, then you get the draw of this thing, and then you get to discard 1. So even though you have to discard 1, you're getting basically 2 draws for free. So even though your grade 1 ride might not be the best, those 2 draws can probably fix your grade 2 and 3 ride. Who knows? And finally, our last grade 1, 4 copies of Marking Celestial Arabaki. 10k shield, 8k base, auto rearguard circle. When it's placed, you may discard 1. If you do, place a card from your damage zone into your hand and then take a damage face down. So you don't get to activate damage triggers off this, so it's not like it's rescue, but you can still get a unit out of your damage zone, and it's helpful. And plus, you just take damage, and this deck does revolve around taking your own damage. And out of Headseal and this thing, I just prefer this thing because, what's it called? Because I just like the art more. Really, it's your choice. I feel like Headseal would have been the smarter move now, but I still picked this because of the art choice. Anyways, onto our grade 2s. 2 copies of Electric Helper. 5k shield, 9k base, auto rearguard circle. When it's at the end of the battle that it attacked, if your opponent has taken 1 damage, at the very least, you can you can move this card into your damage zone, and you get to heal 1. So basically a free counter charge as long as your opponent took damage. And this deck can force damage without having to attack, so where they actually have to take damage. So this can be useful, and it does have a semi-counterblast problem. I mean, technically it's just not counterblast, just damage going in face down, but this card fixes that. So yeah. 3 copies of Million Ray Pegasus. Continuous rearguard. Has 5k shield and 9k base. Continuous rearguard circle, or guardian circle. If your new card is placed into your damage zone this turn, it gets plus 5k power and plus 5k shield. So that's useful because it's a 14k base now for the rest of the turn, and it's a 10k shield. So it can be useful in its own rights, and your opponent might just have to waste an attack on it to get rid of it because it's very annoying. It can be aggressive and it can be defensive. The ultimate unit, in my opinion, for this deck. Next up, 4 copies of Wild Shot Celestial Ergodiel. 5k shield, 9k base. When it's placed on rearguard circle during the turn that you took a damage, counterblast 1, and you can call a card from your drop zone to rearguard circle. That's useful because all you have to do is just take a damage, and this deck can do that on its own. And that just allows you to get any unit of your decision. For example, I've gone in games where I had one rearguard before I even called this thing. I had like 1 or 2, and I called this thing, it nearly doubled my field, and frankly, it made the field way more aggressive. Especially when I have 2 protect markers out, it just becomes so much more useful. I do suggest it if you're going to build this deck at all, even if it's not the same, because it's just useful. And I also suggest this card. 4 copies of Thermometer Angel, 5k shield, counter continuous rearguard circle during your turn. If a new card is placed into your damage zone, it gets plus 5k power. And another continuous rearguard circle, if a new card is placed into your opponent's damage zone during your turn, it gets another plus 5k power. This deck can deal self-damage and it can do opponent damage without having to attack, which is useful because that just means this thing can hit a 19k base really easily and just beat the ever-living crap out of something. And this is frankly one of my favorite rush cards. It seems every time I've used this deck, this card has been there by my first grade 3 ride for a nice little rush to push them to 5. If not 5, at least it rushes down their hand a bit. Next up, 4 copies of Aesthetic Visual Samyazo, or Sampizo. Auto Vanguard Circle or Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if you have a new card in your damage zone, if a new card is placed in your opponent's damage zone during this turn, it gets plus 10k. Then if you have a grade 3 in Soul, discard a card from your hand, and your opponent can't call Sentinels for this battle. So that's useful because I have been in times where this thing has hit like 40k, and my opponents haven't been able to guard it because it just restricts PGs, and they bet on the PG who would save them. And now comes the very important part, which seems every time I play against my friends, that this happens to be the reason that I win, or at least a reason why I rush them down to 5 before they even get to grade 3. Cosmo Humor, Ergodiel. Our ace grade 3 right here. Auto Vanguard Circle. When it's placed, counterblast 1, and you pick up to any player's rear guards, up to 2 of them. So it can be yours, it can be your opponent's, and you pick 2 of them at the most. You send both of them to damage, and then each player gets to heal 1 for each card that's placed in their damage zone. So if you take 2 of your rear guards, your opponent doesn't heal, but you get to heal 2, because 2 cards are placed in your damage zone. If both players put 1 card in their damage zone, they heal 1, etc. And if 1 or more was placed by this effect, it gets plus 1 crit. So already on place, it can basically get a crit as long as someone had a rear guard and you're willing to pay a counterblast of 1 for it. And then Auto Vanguard Circle, when it attacks, it gets plus 5k for each face-up card in your opponent's damage zone. Which is why I like Ergodiel so much, because effectively, you're giving them a chance to heal, so they can heal face-up damage and just get a free counter charge, but the question is it worth it? Do they want to just get the free counter charge, but know that a powerhouse is about to just occur, especially with plus 1 critical? Is it worth it? Or would you rather have face down damage, but be able to guard the attack? It's really a debate whether you think you're going to survive or not. And I remember the time where I was fighting against Mondel and Spinning Blade where they were at grade 2, and because of that crit ability, I was able to just sack them because double crits for some reason happen every time I play against them in every game. Finally, our last card. 5 copies of Imaginary Gift, Protect 2, Electric Boogaloo. So when acquired, you placed it on Rearguard Circle, and it gets the Rearguard Circle that this unit is on, it gets plus 5k, and when it intercepts, it gets plus 10k shield. And this is a current event thing. So Million Ray Pegasus can possibly become a 20k shield with 19k base. Scalpel Angel, throwing all the way back to there, 18k base, 20k shield. Let's see. Basically, that's it for them. They just get that power. And I just like this card because it makes my deck more aggressive. I feel like Protect 2 and Protect 1. Protect 2 is more aggressive, and this deck is very aggressive. So I feel like it fits it more, and also it helps with the defensive problem to an extent. And 5 is there, and there's 5 of them just in case I misride and don't ride into Ergodiel, which so far has happened only once, surprisingly. But yeah, so that was the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I talked a bit fast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to Patreon. And don't forget to stand up your Vanguard.